Hello, ghouls and ghoulies. Welcome to Scary and Bizarre Short Stories. I'm your host, Larry Lee Roten. This is a dark tale of a golden key. Could it change a person's life? In this story, maybe. The story's called The Golden Key. Nestled atop a gentle hill, the old house displayed an air of mystery and intrigue. Surrounded by towering maple trees, it seemed their leaves whispered tales of a forgotten past as the wind teased them. Built in the late 1800s, its weathered appearance suggested images of a haunted mansion from a classic horror film, igniting one's imagination. When we moved into the old house, we were enchanted by its rustic charm. The creaky floorboards and the plastered covered walls whispered secrets and stories from the past. Despite its age and countless tales of hauntings associated with old homes, we settled in with ease, feeling a comforting peace in our new old house. That was until I found an old key. One day, while cleaning the attic and removing dusty items left by previous owners, I discovered a large box. As I moved it, I found a loose board on the floor. Curiosity overcame me as I lifted the plank. My mind spun thoughts of hidden treasures or stacks of cash hidden under the loose wood. However, I was surprised. Hidden beneath the floor was an iron chest. I lifted it from its hiding place. With a screwdriver, I carefully forced the chest open. The small iron chest creaked as the hinges gave way to the pressure. Inside, nestled among faded velvet lining, was a worn, tattered note, its edges frayed and yellowed by age. As I lifted the note, I saw a shiny golden key. It was exquisite, its surface smooth and polished as it reflected the dim light of the attic where I had discovered it. As I looked at the key, it seemed to glimmer, casting a warm glow that enveloped the room. I heard a voice whisper, "You found me." I shook with horror as I was alone in the house. I put the note back into the chest, wondering where the voice came from. Frightened, I headed down the attic steps and into the upstairs hall. Being out of the attic made me feel more comfortable. I quickly closed the attic door. I took the chest to the living room and set it on the coffee table. The intricately carved chest seemed to dance under the dim light of the lamp. The air was thick with anticipation as I lifted the lid once more, revealing the secrets it held within. I reached for the note and carefully unfolded it. The words, scrawled in an elegant yet haunting script, sent a chill down my spine. "You found an amazing but deadly key. Give it to those who taunt you, and your tormentors will cease to exist. Just know that the process cannot be reversed. Once you touch the key, it will attach itself to you. Beware. The key brings a monstrous beast to do your bidding." The implications of the note were staggering. An object of such power could alter the course of my life and the life of others in unimaginable ways. Why had I found the key? Did someone leave the chest for me? What kind of monstrous beast lay in wait, ready to be unleashed upon the world? The idea of having a key that could remove my tormentors was both tempting and terrifying. What would the chest want in return? As I sat there staring at the chest, I realized that the decision was mine alone to make. I could choose to use the key, embracing the power and darkness that came with it, or I could hide it away, ensuring it would never fall into the wrong hands. As I stared at the key, I heard the voice whisper again, "You found me." I fought the urge to pick up the key, but something inside me insisted that I do so. It was as if some unseen force prodded me to do so. It was as if I couldn't help myself. I picked up the key, and a dark, monstrous shadow appeared before me. The air around me grew colder, and a shiver ran down my spine. My heart raced. What was this apparition, and what did it want from me? The shadow loomed silently, its presence both eerie and frightening. I realized the key was cursed, and by picking it up, I had unleashed a horrible monster. Who are you? I asked. I'm the thing people fear the most. I'm the monster that hides in the shadows. What do you want? I asked. You awakened me by touching the key. The question is, what do you want? You read the note, yes? I shook in horror and squeaked out the words, yes. Then you know what the key can do. My heart raced as I tried to make sense of the threatening words. Fear gripped me, yet a part of me was drawn to the mystery, driven by a need to understand what I had stumbled upon. I I can't, I said. Then hide the key. Someone else will find it. They always do. Tears ran down my cheeks, and I shook in horror. I could use the key, but at what cost? The front door opened and my husband walked into the house. My mother is bringing the kids. She'll be here in an hour. He saw me holding the key. The monstrous figure that had appeared when I picked up the key had vanished. What do you have in your hand? He asked. A golden key, I said. My husband was controlling, verbally abusive, and disrespectful. He had a large family, and all of them treated me horribly, making me feel unworthy. It was like anything I did wasn't good enough for their family. I had suffered under their rule for years. In my heart, I wanted to use the key, unlocking the cage that had confined me for far too long. Living with a controlling husband had been a heavy burden. His words, like sharp daggers, had left deep scars that were invisible to the outside world, but painfully real to me. The pain was intensified by his large family, who treated me horribly. No matter how hard I tried, nothing was ever good enough for them. Their criticism was constant, and their disapproval of me was suffocating. When our kids were born, my mother in law insisted on raising them. After a terrible battle, I won the right to be with them on the weekends. There was no way I wanted to give up my kids to such a wicked woman and her family. But my husband, James, insisted I do so. I stared at my husband. Was this a chance to repay him for the years of abuse from him and his family? That key looks like it's solid gold. If it is, it's a valuable item. Give it to me, he said, snatching the key from my hand. You can have the key, I said, flashing a huge smile. And you can also have the monster who owns it. With that said, the monstrous beast appeared, and in a flash, he grabbed James and disappeared. The golden key fell on the floor. Before leaving, the beast whispered in a scratchy voice, The key will always return to you. When you're done with it, hide it in the attic. The key belongs to this house. You must hide the key and the note in the chest. That key will find a new owner once you leave. An hour later, my mother in law walked into the house. My two children followed. Where's James? She snapped. I don't know. His car is in the drive, but I think he left with someone else. That's all I know. I don't doubt it, she said sarcastically. You never know what he's doing. She added, I'll never understand why he married you. He could have done better. I smiled. I know. She gave me a condescending glance. I told my mother-in-law I would look outside for James while she said goodbye to the kids. I opened the door and walked toward her car, placing the key in front of her car's door. That should do fine, I said. My mother-in-law left, and I watched out the window as she picked up the key. You deserve that, I whispered, knowing the key would return to me later. I laughed, knowing my husband would be out of my life forever. The following week, I heard a knock on my door. I was surprised when I opened the door and saw my mother-in-law standing on the stoop. You can have her, she said, smiling. The monstrous beast appeared, but he didn't take me. He smiled and grabbed my mother-in-law as the golden key fell to the floor. Before vanishing, he said, I told you the key would return to you. He laughed, emitting a soft, scratchy voice. I love to toy with my victims. He disappeared into the darkness with my mother-in-law in tow. I picked up the key. Oh, yes, I said, smiling. I have lots more people for you. I hope you enjoyed this story. I've never found a golden key, and I don't want to. Yes, I've had people who mistreated me, but let's face it, none of us wants to make them disappear forever. Or do we? Thank you for listening to this scary and bizarre short story. If you would, please subscribe and give this story a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. As always, thank you for visiting my channel.